Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is our fourth session digging into Avyan in the sacred realm. And today we're hitting possibly the biggest question the whole text raises. How much of who you think you are was actually chosen by you? Are you writing your story? Or are you remembering a script that's already there deep down?
It's a huge question, and what's really compelling about the sources here is that they don't just treat it as, abstract philosophy. They weave together science, psychology, even metaphysics, the core idea that we carry this unbroken chain of genetic memory inside us, in ourselves.
Well, okay, let's pause there because that's just, wow. The DNA isn't just about eye color. It's a record. Thousands of years of human experience packed into our biology.
Exactly. The text literally calls it a history book written in flesh. Think about the real basics, your heartbeat, that rhythm, ancient, those gut feelings, maybe sudden fears, your reactions in a crisis, or even just how you attach to people. The sources argue these things were fundamentally written long before you arrived.
Written before you were born.
Yeah, inherited patterns of survival, connection.
Yeah.
The deep stuff.
Okay, but let's push on that a bit. If my emotional triggers, my resilience, if that's all sort of preloaded in the code, where does free will fit in? Does the text suggest we're just, playing out an ancestral program passively?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The framework presented isn't about destiny as a rigid cage. It's more like a starting language. It's the emotional dialect you're born speaking, the initial toolkit you get. Free will isn't canceled out. It's about how you use that language, how you work with that blueprint.
Okay.
The inheritance gives you the foundation. And importantly, it often carries both the, let's say, the baggage, the trauma, but also the wisdom, the strength accumulated over generations.
That moves us right into the psychological side. Beyond just the genes, emotional inheritance, it's one thing to get your dad's ears maybe, but inheriting anxiety or a specific way of coping with stress from someone you never even met, that feels pretty out there.
Well, it's where modern psychology is actually starting to meet some of these older ideas explored in the text. We see it clinically, don't we? Children sometimes mirroring very specific anxieties or behaviors of parents or grandparents, maybe a tendency towards being hyper alert or a deep aversion to conflict.
Right.
And the text suggests this isn't just learned behavior passed down consciously. It calls it memory embedded in cellular structure. It's like the unresolved emotional business of the past is still echoing, vibrating in the present, seeking completion through you, perhaps.
The sources make a really useful distinction here, I think, for anyone listening. It's this difference between preference and resonance. Like, I might prefer coffee over tea today, but that could change tomorrow. It's a surface thing.
Exactly. Preference is changeable, often logical. Resonance, that's different. It's described as this persistent, sometimes illogical pull. Maybe you're always drawn to the ocean, or a certain kind of music hits you in a way you can't explain, or you just need deep silence. The sources propose this might not be your preference you develop from scratch. It could be a resonance.
A resonance?
Yeah, like you're continuing something, picking up a frequency that started way back in your line, maybe a need for connection or solitude that got lost and is now trying to surface again through you.
So how do we even tell the difference between just wanting something and this deeper resonance, especially when we're so focused on achieving on external goals?
That's a good point. The text suggests looking for those pulls that don't make logical sense, that don't offer an obvious reward, things that keep coming back. Resonance often feels familiar, like coming home, even if it's difficult, it doesn't really demand, it just sort of calls.
Right.
And this leads right into that uncomfortable but also kind of thrilling idea from Avyan's journey.
Which is?
What if your life isn't just about moving forward, creating something new? What if it's also partly a journey back towards something ancient within you that's trying to be remembered, trying to finally be expressed or healed?
Okay, wow. If we accept even part of that we're carrying this blueprint, this ancestral memory, it totally reframes success, doesn't it? We usually think destiny is something you build brick by brick through sheer effort. You grind, you hustle, you create your future.
Right, the standard narrative. But the sources flip that. They ask, what if destiny isn't just created by effort? What if it's also activated by memory? And not just, remembering your shopping list kind of memory, but the deep memory of the soul, holding the potentials and maybe the unfinished stories of your lineage.
Deep memory of the soul. That connects immediately to something I think a lot of people feel today. You see folks who spend decades chasing goals. They get the career change. They travel the world, buy the house, tick every single box society gave them. And yet they still feel misplaced, incomplete, like the text says, like guests in their own life.
That's a powerful image. Guests in their own life. They've filled the pantry with everything imaginable, but they still feel hungry somehow. And here's the crucial insight from the sources. That feeling, that emptiness or misalignment. It is explicitly not failure.
Not failure, okay.
No, it's defined as a signal. A very sophisticated, high-level reminder. It's telling you that life isn't just about getting more stuff, more status. It's about aligning with that deeper blueprint, that inherent truth you carry.
Which means a huge shift in perspective, right? Moving away from just consuming life, demanding things from it.
Precisely. It's a shift from asking, what else do I need to get from the world to feel okay? To asking something more like, what is the world? Or maybe something beyond it, this inner call asking from me. What needs to come through me?
It's moving from demand to receptivity, from striving to remembering or acknowledging. And this is exactly where Avyan's story in the text becomes so illustrative. It makes this abstract idea really concrete because his turning point, his shift inward, it doesn't come from some big disaster. No bankruptcy, no tragedy. That's the usual trope.
No, and that's what makes it perhaps more relatable or even unsettling for many of us. His crisis comes after massive success, years of it, international projects, global recognition, financial comfort, the works. Everything society tells you equals made it. And then one day he just has this undeniable internal reckoning. I got everything I thought I wanted, but this isn't me. I don't feel like myself.
That feeling, that restlessness, even when things look perfect on the outside, that's the core, isn't it? So what is that restlessness, according to the sources?
They're very specific. It's not clinical depression. It's not just boredom or dissatisfaction with possessions. It's defined as awakening. It's the first real stirring of that deeper blueprint we talked about. It's the ancestral call, the soul memory, finally getting loud enough that you can't ignore it anymore, no matter how loud the outside world is.
The signal becomes impossible to ignore.
Exactly. It insists.
And right at that point, when Avyan is totally lost in this inner confusion, guidance appears. This presence. And it's important how the text describes it. It's not like he reads a self-help book or finds a new guru.
It's not about accumulating new information or philosophies. It's more like recognition. This presence doesn't try to sell him on a new path. It works by subtraction, really.
Yeah.
It helps dissolve the illusions he's built up. It reminds him of who he was before he forgot.
And it does this with one single, devastatingly simple question. A question that just cuts through all the noise of achievement and ambition he'd accumulated.
That question is, what is love?
Wow. And clearly not asking about romantic love or even just kindness. It's deeper.
Much deeper. It's pointing towards the fundamental nature of existence, of connection, the energy underlying everything, before all the labels and goals got piled on top. And that moment, that question hitting home, the text calls it ancestral ignition. It's the turning point. Avyan stops just being a product of his circumstances, his career, society's expectations, his drive for validation. He starts to remember his actual purpose. His whole journey shifts. It's no longer outward, chasing, acquiring. It becomes inward, upward, and ultimately beyond. He starts living from the blueprint, not searching for it anymore. So bringing this back to us, to anyone listening, the sources are essentially holding up a mirror. They're asking you the same underlying question Avyan faced. What if that deep ache you feel sometimes, that persistent longing? What if it's not desire for something new you lack? What if it's actually memory? Memory of something essential you already are, something you've forgotten. And what if the life you're truly meant for, that aligned life, isn't something you have to build from zero with blood, sweat, and tears? What if it's already there, waiting to be remembered, uncovered?
It really does reframe everything about ambition and purpose. And that's why engaging with Avyan in the sacred realm, why doing these deep dives, it feels less like just analyzing a book and more like an awakening process itself. Consider this less information, more an invitation to look within yourself through this lens.
Exactly. And you're not doing this alone from scratch. The sources use this beautiful image, life as a relay race. You didn't just appear out of nowhere. Think of the countless hands stretching back through time who successfully passed the baton. They passed down strength, resilience, wisdom, sheer survival, all leading to you right here, right now, holding that baton. They did it so you could be here.
That baton, that potential for ancestral ignition, it's in your hand now.
Yeah.
So the material really leaves you with a final profound choice, building on everything we've touched on today. Will you just live the life that circumstances seem to offer, the life based on the external script? Or will you choose to remember the life that was always yours waiting within?